Welcome back. Today's school shooting in Texas has so many of us asking important questions about security in schools across the country. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, while more than 90% of schools across the nation have controlled access to buildings, less than 20%, according to data updated in 2018, have random metal detector checks at the entrances. Jesus Villahermosa is a former deputy sheriff who specializes in crisis reality training, and he is joining us tonight live from his home in Washington State. Jesus, always good to see you. And every time I talk to you, I wish it was under different circumstances, but there's a lot we can learn here. Let's start with these metal detectors in schools. It doesn't appear this school in Texas had these metal detectors. Could that have stopped what happened today?
No, the metal detectors are meant to be preventative in nature. There's no question about that. But we've had numerous shootings and school shootings, both in the mass public shooting arena as well as schools. Red Lake, Minnesota is an example, where they had metal detectors and a security officer, but the shooter still walked right through it, right? And by the time you're going, hey, you beeped, he's already pulling out the gun and shooting. So, you know, the public really needs to understand that, and this has been stated by numerous experts in the field, you really can't stop the next intentful active shooter in America. Somebody wants to walk in anywhere in America. I mean, you know, last week it was the Kroger's in Tennessee, right? And open fire, you're going to have a tough time stopping that person. And so, you know, the concern is until we can figure that piece out, because they're getting worse. You know, this week, this shooting as of today, Education Week now tells us that in 2021, we already have 22 school shootings, right? Every Town for Gun Safety tells us that they've got 30 gun incidents in the first 45 days of school from August 1st to September 15th. And that documents all gun incidents, but that almost doubles last year's number. So all the data is pointing to that this is going to not only continue, but they usually occur in greater volume towards the end of the year. So we're in the peak time of the year. So until we can figure that out, Marni, we really need to be thinking about what things can we do to mitigate the event also when it starts. Because one of the greatest things is actually the relationship with students to be able to tell us what's going on. That's critical.
Right. That's interesting because I know you spend a lot of your time traveling the country talking to students of varying ages about their choices, consequences of their actions, respect and active lethal threat survival. So what is your message to them? What do you say?
Well, you know, the first thing that is really important for people to recognize watching the show tonight is 75 to 90% of the victims in these shootings are almost always students. They're not adults. They're usually students. Adults do get injured or killed in these, but not at the volume that the students do. So I've decided years ago, we need to give the students their own personal survival plan. And by the way, it's not run, hide, fight. Run, hide, fight is 3 of 9 tactics that people use to survive active lethal threat events. So it's not just run, hide, fight. There's all kinds of different things going on based on the context of the shooting. So the first thing we teach the students is, of course, the power of the voice, right? If we really want to mitigate or reduce or stop gun violence in schools specifically, we have to have a stronger collaboration with our students because they see and hear everything, just Marni, like you and I did when we were in school, right? They know what's going on. And then the next piece is, if they're not with an adult, they have permission to use any of the 9 tactics however they want. And Marni, this is going to be really impactful here. In 50% of the school assemblies that I've done nationally over the last 15, 20 years in that time frame, in over 50% of the assemblies, after the assembly is over, a student comes forward within 7 days to report a school shooting plot currently being planned in their school because they felt so compelled by the presentation and hearing the stories of other kids that didn't report, and then some of their friends died. So the students are absolutely the biggest component solution that we should be looking at. And then, of course, how are we training staff in response? Again, I was a cop and on a SWAT team. I responded to my son's school shooting as a tactical team member. So I understand exactly how the young lady and her mom felt that you just had on earlier. It was terrifying for me. And I'm going to his school as a tactical team member in about 45 seconds. Mm-hmm. So I feel it. I understand you just got to hold him and hug him. And I didn't let go of my son for 3 or 4 days.
Right.
And of course, he asked me to stop, but that wasn't going to happen. But the point being is that, you know, we've got to focus on what I call the true first responders. Teachers, students, and visitors at the school exposed to the immediate threat, they are the true first responders.
Right.
I'm a cop. I'm a tactical team member. You saw the video there of officers responding with semi-automatic weapons, automatic weapons, right? They've got ballistic equipment on. They've got ballistic shields. I was that guy. So I want to train the people that we need to train to survive while they're waiting for us to get there. Because those are the true first responders, and their first actions in the first few seconds can dictate life, injury, or death.
A lot we can learn in every one of these. There have been 101 incidents nationwide, Jesus, this year alone of gunfire on our school campuses. Great information tonight, as always. Thank you for your time.
Marni. It's great to see you again. Take care.
Good to see you.